Folks, yes, okay. Woo! Welcome back. This is hour two. Welcome to the club with Lucas here on RCE 106.9 FM, coming off a fabulous hour with fabulous people, and into another hour with Encarames Gin Fabulosa, de verdad, because that was the lovely Tori Sparks with Sir Andrea Chimenti. And their single, which actually just dropped last month, or the month 8 at the end of February or March, and Staying in the Moonlight, that one was called. Woo! Okay, folks, we have a beautiful English exclusive here for Barcelona and Catalonia and all the world. Remember, you can catch us here at 106.9 FM all over the beautiful state of Catalonia and everywhere in the world at rce.cat. And we have a beautiful, wonderful exclusive here because that was Lady Tori Sparks as well. And she is releasing, as of last night, her first album in nearly 8 years. In fact, it's an EP, and it's conceptual, it's rocking, it's deep as... And your boy Lukey is so lucky to have you all here for this new hour of the club with moi on our Saturday brunch extravaganza, celebrating years of kinship, and I do mean that, and sisterhood and brotherhood with none other than the queen of flamenco rock fusion, Lady Tori Sparks. And I'm going to give my one-man salute as I am alone here right now in the studio. But the Lord is here with me, and the energy of Tori's here as well. So much to get into as well, because remember, and obviously, folks, I want you to follow my lovely ass at the club with Lucas, and that's with a C. I am not from Eastern Europe. The Club with Lucas, Lucas, on Instagram. You can also get me at TwitX at the Club W Lucas, but I use that very low. But you can also follow us at RCE 106.9 FM, where we serve and we slay the most wonderful independent alternative radio for nearly 45 years here in the city. And of course, we're the ones who bring you English radio here as well. You can also catch us with your peepholes on YouTube at RCE 106.9 FM. Now, let's talk about it, because this album... it's called The Cabinet of Curiosities. And later on in the hour, we're going to be hearing from a beautiful interview. In fact, we recorded this late last night. So I will leave that with you, and a beautiful new intro to singles as well. We're going to give a teaser of the single in about 15, 20 minutes. Then at the end of the show, we will have the single, which is called Reckoning. The album is called Cabinet of Curiosities, and Tori will explain what that is actually during the interview in a little while. But the Cabinet of Curiosities is a conceptual album that she's releasing in different parts. In fact, every mid-month for the next 3 months. This month, as of this weekend, obviously, it's just released now. In mid-May, as well as mid-June, she will be releasing 4 tracks of different genres. In fact, we're going to be exploring, this one is more of Tori's base of roots and roots rock. There's going to be another one coming out that's going to be more R&B based with gospel and blues. There's going to be another one coming out in the summertime that is tinged towards trip hop and electronica. And then she's getting back to different roots as well as with the fusion after the summer in September, October, leading up to an amazing release of a series of concerts. All of this, of course, is going to be on Tori's website, as well as you can follow her at Tori Sparks Music on Instagram and everywhere where good music is streamed. You can follow that as well as Spotify. But she's also going to be releasing everything on, of course, it's going to be streaming, but on vinyl and CD. And why we love her so much here is because Tori's been making this happen. She's one of the only few names here in the city that's actually made, not just in the city, rather, in Catalonia and in Spain, that it's made inroads with the fusion of flamenco with rock and blues and soul and country, which, of course, Lady Tori is from Chicago, Illinois, and Nashville, Tennessee. So that is the shout out to the new album. Now, what I want you to know is that there are still a few tickets left. Tori is telling the story of Cabinet of Curiosities and introducing a lot of the songs that are going to be coming out for the rest of the album and the rest of the year at the Teatre de Sarria, the famed and loved Teatre de Sarria. This is going to be happening on Wednesday, the 29th of April at 8 p.m. And tickets are going fast. So you have a couple of weeks to get your tickets now. In fact, over this last 10, 12 days before, leading up into the show, you can get a small discount, a 20% discount, if you put in, when you go to teatrodesarria.com or through Tori's website, you can write in TOR20, Tori20, and you will get a 20% discount on this fabulous launch album release party at the Teatre de Sarria. I repeat, that is Tori20. That launch is going to be on the 29th of April at 8 p.m. Allora, The beauty that is this record is that there's so much that is coming out. There's a lot of women. There are a lot of women that have a lot to say that are releasing albums right now. For the first time in years, Tori is our local, our global is Madonna, and our birthright hood is Amy Grant, who is also from Nashville, Tennessee. And these three women are releasing albums after years, literally, I believe all of them are 8 to 10 years without releasing albums. And they all have something to say. And I feel like Lady Tori, Lady M, and Lady A are dropping albums in a moment where we see the divided states of America infringing itself in many aspects around the world. And this is not a good thing. Now, for the last month or so, Lucas has not given any news that you can use in English because it's just been heinous. But we are going to do a small roundup and catch up of that after one song is dropping. And in fact, during this hour, it will be the only song that you will be hearing that is not Tory Sparks. As I said, we started the hour with Sir Andrea Chimenti and Lady Tori Sparks and their single A Stain in the Moonlight, where you can stream wherever good music is streamed. And right now, I'm going to give you just a little bit of something because I heard it this past week and I absolutely loved it because we've been getting some great weather. In fact, it's been passing 20 here for the first time in months, and it's making me feel happy. And I know it's making you feel happy too. Remember, everybody, this is the Club with Lucas on 106.9 FM here on RCE in Barcelona. And you can catch all the jams live at rce.cat and, of course, 106.9 FM. If you hear things fade out on the meta platforms or on YouTube, it's for all this infringement rights and stuff like that with copyrights all over the cities. But of course, here on 106.9 FM, the jams keep coming. This is a band called Coop with Summer Sun. That is as in the soul, not the hijo. And in 4 minutes, we'll be right back with just your first April spring review in English news that you can use. Here's Summer Sun with Coop. We'll be right back. Ah, yeah, baby. See, you feel that? It's got a little bit of swinging stuff going in there, and that's going to segue us into nicely because we're going to need something that's a little soft and dainty as we get into this. Um, Sorry, I didn't freeze. I'm just thinking how to properly say it. I certainly I got into a bit of an argument with some university people, this week's people, students, in reference to my thoughts that everything, not everything, but perhaps a lot of the stuff that is happening in reference to wars, in reference to the drama with the continuation of the Ukraine war, with the continuation of Iran and Lebanon being bombed by the shite demagoguery that is the Israeli government at this moment, and of course the positions of this piece of crap in the country in which that I hail from, but I'm no longer a part of, frankly, the United States of America, is because of the Epstein files. And I truly do believe that anything that takes away anything that's taking away information or attention that is paid towards the Epstein files and the cover up of that is huge. And since the last time we were doing news here in English, the Attorney General of the United States of America, Pamela Bondi, has been unceremoniously but fake ceremoniously dismissed. She has been replaced by an acting Attorney General named Todd Blanche, who is the always losing a case former attorney for Donald Trump. He is the one that lost the case when he was declared an adjudicated sexual harasser, abuser, and an adjudicated rapist, and had to pay a woman $90 million. Shout out to her. He was also found guilty. He was the one representing him when he lost all of the cases. In fact, 34 fraud counts, 34 fiscal fraud counts against this criminal that is in the White House of the United States of America. Now, at the base of 6 weeks ago, when this launch of the Iran drama was given over to basically Bibi Netanyahu, that piece of shite, told him, I need you to do this, and Trump goes, "Rah, rah," and barks and does it, because it is very likely, as we now know, that Jeffrey Epstein was an informant for not only the CIA, but also for Mossad out of Israel and for the Kremlin out of fucking Russia, that they have stuff on Trump. Okay? It is also all coming out, allegedly, that it really was Jeffrey Epstein who connected Melania with him, not some other talent scout who's being named and whose ex-wife was deported. She is, I believe, a Brazilian, and her name is Ungaro, like that old cologne. And she is spilling the beans, because she says she has everything on Melania. And if you will recall that last Friday, about 8 days ago, Melania out of nowhere came out and held a press conference saying that she was not one of the victims of Epstein's, and calling for the Congress to call the women back and have them testify and all of this other nonsense, and that she was introduced by Ungaro's husband, ex-husband, who had her deported, and all of this drama. But all of this fakery is covering up the fact, all of the firings that are going on, all of the people that are leaving, all of the people and the Congress people who are leaving, is covering up the fact that something huge is coming down the pipeline. Everybody can smell it. The power of Christ compels it, and everybody knows it. And at the same time, now with all major forces, Germany, the UK, France, thankfully, Italy has gotten involved as well and said, no, you cannot use our bases or any of our forces for your ridiculous war that has closed now the Strait of Hormuz and infringed upon over 20% of the world's electricity and oil to come through it. No, you cannot use that basis. Of course, Giorgia Meloni at the beginning was doing that, but now she's completely turned against that. But the first person to do all that and say absolutely hail to the no to everybody, specifically Russia first, then Israel, and now the United States for the last 6 months, has been our lovely leader, Pedro Sanchez. And Pedro Sanchez has been doing a tour of the East, making deals with Chinese and other members of that ilk in larger countries like India and things of that nature, because we have all the need to accept that we can no longer depend on the North American U.S. region and the isles around it to sustain and support us. There are actually talks that have started in the European Parliament. Everybody needs to know this, that there would be the possibility of a formation of a new United Nations, a new OTAN, NATO, and it would theoretically it's being held as possibly being called new NATO. There would be all other countries, including other democratic possibilities, to enter it, but would exclude the United States of America. And I think it's in high time that we acknowledge that Europeans depended too long and mandated too much responsibility and power over to the United States, always bitching about it, but always permitting that to happen. And thereby, we are in the land that we are living in because of that. Yesterday, the prime minister met, the president Pedro Sanchez met with Claudia Sheinbaum and many other people who were representing other political centrist and political left parties. And as there had been drama and people talking about a crisis between the Americas and Mexico, of course, Mexico's North America, but Mexico and South America with España, Scheinbaum, our lovely Mexicana Judía, came out and said, "Oh, hell to the nah. There is no diplomatic crisis at all with España, and there has never been, not in recent times, and certainly not between Sanchez and Scheinbaum." And I am glad to know that. It is, I think, imperative right now that there be a collective, whether you're a centrist righty, or a lefty, that there be a comparative amalgamation and junta, that we come together as in togetherness against what is happening in this world, because there is a huge push to move us away from democracy and dangle carrots, and we, my beautiful people, cannot be thwarted by this. There is so much more that we're going to be talking about, but the last few weeks, honestly, and on the show, I have not had neither the wherewithal or the time, because we've had so many guests. So I want to thank everybody from the last the last month and a half, really, but everybody from the BCN studio, the people, the actors and actresses that have been here, from Alessandro to Belinda to the connection through Georgina with Ignacio, to everybody that was to Ian, to, my God, there's so many beautiful people that have been on here. Thank you, Venus, for being here. We've just had so many guests over the last few weeks. And so now we're going to be throwing on something that is an exclusive here for us. Remember, people, only you can defend forest fires, and only you can make sure that you're registered to vote. So if you are a member of the U.S. expat community, please make sure you can register to vote. That is, you can do that and get all that information through Democrats Abroad or votefromabroad.org. Also, if you are an expat immigrant of any tribe, nationality, whatever, but are registered and a resident and a citizen resident of this state, you can register to vote as well in Spain and Catalonia in your province. Please make sure annually before Reyes that you are. It is very important that we're all keeping social democracy alive. This is a big part of some of the stuff that Tori, Lady Tori Sparks, the Queen of Flamenco Rock Fusion, is talking about on this new record. I'm going to step away. We're going to do a teaser of her new single. It's called Reckoning. And the rest of the hour is going to be me and Lady Tori talking about this new record, The Cabinet of Curiosities. Remember, you can still get your tickets for the 29th of April at ToriSparks.com and through the website at teatradesaria.com. Remember, TORI20 will get you 20% discount for whatever tickets are left. Alrighty, folks, we will see you same bat time and channel. Right now, this is Tori Sparks and The Reckoning, and then Tori Sparks and Sir Lucas Avram with Cabinet of Curiosities. Welcome back, everybody. Oh, man, you don't see me alone because obviously this is a pre-record that I'm doing with none other than the queen of flamenco rock fusion here, not only in Catalonia, I'm saying in Spain and Andorra también. Lady Tori Sparks, it's happening. It's happening, guys. Thank you so much for doing this because you're all over the place right now. You've got so much that's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks as well. So I just want to give a mad love and shout out to you and to the cabinet of curiosities that I'm going to open up over here right now.
Thank you so much.
Honestly, the beautiful thing about this, and then we're going to dive right into the questions, is the fact that you're releasing it, and as we say over here, trocitos, but you're releasing it in EP snippets throughout the next few months.
Yeah, which when I explained this to my publicist and my distributor, they're like, no,
reaction.
You can't do that. And now they think it's fine. So it's not a traditional way to release an album, I know, but there's a reason behind it. There's multiple reasons behind it. And one of them is artistic, because when I was trying to figure out what to do with this album, there were all these different ideas that made sense in all these different genres. And I thought it was much cooler to lean into that idea and say, I'm going to make this like a collection of curiosities, musical curiosities. And also, honestly, who sits down and listens to like 21 songs in a row? Like nobody, unless they're like a minute and a half little tiny songs, right? So, or unless you bought the Rosalia double LP, then maybe you do, but then you got to get up 4 times to change it and turn it over because it's an LP. Anyway, but most people don't just sit down and listen to a ton of songs anymore. People don't have an attention span. So I thought, okay, look, it would make sense, and people will hopefully appreciate the music more if you get it in bits, kind of like a series, right? Where the Netflix, where like they release an episode and you watch it and you enjoy it, and then you got the next episode. It's not like you have to watch 8 hours at once, although I do that from time to time. So the idea of the Cabinet of the Curiosities is like trying to
the title as well.
Thanks. Well, that's because do you know what those are? Do you know what cabinets?
Yes, I do.
See, because you're a nerd like me and you know things. So. But for people who don't know, it's in like the 1700s. People would collect these like random specimens, and sometimes they specialized in all the weirdest insects from Africa, or sometimes it was just representations of the natural world in general. And it was like before natural history museums even. So it was a way that people explained the world to themselves, and it just the personal as well as just global situation of the world these past 10 years is changed so much, and it's so fractured and so weird in so many ways, and there's so many contrasts and so many contradictions that it just made sense to let's do a collection of curiosities. I feel like it's a better mirror to reflect the times we live in and to reflect my own personal experience these days, as opposed to trying to make let's make a blues album. I mean, just didn't feel like it brought anything new to the world. So I wanted to do something new, something different, and then give it your best shot, because as an artist, you gotta try to reflect the times you're living in and give people something to hold on to in dark times. And that's the point of this album too, considering what we're all going through, So
there are very specific Tennessee artists I would love for you to tell that to. Thankfully, I have one in front of me that I can talk about that, because the first single that I listened to is called Reckoning. Mm-hmm. And one of the lines there that you say is, you make a paean actually to Cyndi Lauper about girls wanting to have fun. But
thank you for catching that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then you dive deeper into what's really happening in the realm of the divine feminine. I'm going to get spiritual and esoteric in this world of the machismo hell that we're living in right now. It's all around us. I'm getting chills as I'm saying it. So then you listen deeper into those words. And then, as Tori will often do, Lady Sparks will start pontificating on that. How much of what is, and this is a bit of a sidestep for some of the questions from before, but how much of what we've been experiencing and living the last few years, and thank you, because it's been too long. It's been almost 8 years without fresh material in an album form. You gave us Carrie, you've given us other things throughout the year, the madness of the world. But how much of these experiences have defined the writing of this record?
Well, it's, as you said, it's actually the first time in 9 years now that I'll be releasing a full album of a fully original, never before released material, which that's crazy. How'd that even happen? It's because, it's been busy. It's been busy. There's been COVID. I've had my own health issues. I've also, if you've been in the music industry for a really long time, it's a toxic industry, and it just took its toll. Other things took their toll as well, and I just wasn't feeling creative. So I was also really enjoying recording live. It's a challenge, different kind of challenge. And suddenly 8 years when I started the production of this thing passed by, and I was like, wow, I should get back to writing. But the whole time I was writing, I was telling myself like, I'm not writing anything. What is wrong with me? But then I looked back and I had written a ton of songs. I'm like, oh, I do have songs. Okay, I don't know when I did that, but it's like just little bits and pieces. But there were bits and pieces that I didn't feel like I could put out there because, to answer your question, I was being influenced. I can't speak English. I was being influenced by the state of the world. To be totally honest, starting with the first Trump administration, because I just saw people who I thought better of buying into some very crazy propaganda, like the kinds of propaganda that you see in like the Bond movies that like the Russian bad guys would try to sell, right? And starting then, I felt like this is not a special or unique to me. Like I just felt that I really had to reevaluate a lot of things that I thought I took for granted growing up in the States, and the concept of personal freedom, the concept of equality, because America's never been a perfect country. It was founded on killing the Indians and bringing the slaves over, so it's never been like the dream. But the ideals behind it, and always like working towards something better in theory, right? I mean, I think everyone.
Amen.
That represents that concept has also been important to a lot of friends and fans I've talked to who have no ties to the States at all. They're like, yeah, America always represented like an idea of something, even if it didn't always live up to its own idea, right? So just to see it like going backwards really, really bothered me. And that sounds so stupid to say, but it's just on a personal level, it hurt me so much that I started writing these, and also the way that technology has impacted our lives and how it's changed interpersonal communication. There's so many things that they were so big and so like existential that I didn't know how to put them into songs, and they started coming out in the songs anyway, because that's what songs are. They're a reflection of the state of your subconscious, right? So, but they just didn't feel comfortable. It would be like dressing up in a very crazy costume outfit that you're like, I look weird. I just didn't feel good. And so that's the other reason why I haven't done a studio album in such a long time, because the songs I was writing, it just didn't feel, I didn't know how to express them, and I didn't feel like it represented me. But then now, it's like you grow into your own ideas, and I feel like that the political songs, the songs that talk about technology versus humanity, that talk about faith versus like organized religion, that talk about different kinds of love, not just like desamor of my stupid exes and stuff like this. Like these kinds of things are, and I'm not trying to say, look at me, but I mean, I'm 42 years old now, so that like you get older and you learn how to explain ideas that are a bit more complicated than you're a jerk and you forgot to tell me you were married, which is like the other problems, right? So, Reckoning, I mean, that song in particular is a very anti-fascist, like people stand up and do not bow down, and it references Cyndi Lauper, it references David Bowie, it references the
Constitution. Yes, it does, David.
Yeah.
Who we see on your left-hand side or right-hand side.
Yeah.
And then I love how you also started this, particularly the first release of this EP, which dropped yesterday. And, but also the fact that you start with the impact of what we need, what the world needs now, love. Yeah. And then you go into it. But what also is, and all of this, and I'm going to make a shout out right now, all of this is going to be played live for the beautiful people of our lovely city here in Barcelona. Yeah. At 8 p.m. at the Teatre de Sarrià in the beautiful neighborhood of Sarrià on April the 29th, which is a Wednesday. And still, there are a few tickets left. People, in fact, anyone listening to me, we're going to be throwing this out on Alcor's interwebs as well for the next week. You can get a 20% discount still utilizing the code TORI20, 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 TORI20. You can get a 20% off discount for that at the Theater de Sarrià while the tickets are still available. We've got 2 weeks to get those babies. They're going to be sold out, so get your tickets now, children of the corn. However, I need to talk about these genres, because this is something also, there are certain ones that that you're tapping into. There's listening to the EP, the first EP that I've listened to twice now. There's like a comfort zone there.
Oh, that's interesting.
But you're also taking it into different tangents, including stuff like trip hop and electronica in the later on in the year. The different genres that you've chosen with jazz and blues as well. Like, can we talk about those genres a little bit really quickly, please? And why those genres?
Well, that was again kind of not the problem, but one of the things about like what do I do with this music, And I was just really mad at the idea that I've got to be one thing, Like the past few albums, live or in studio, have all been flamenco fusion stuff because that's what I wanted to do. It's not because anyone told me I had to. In fact, people told me don't do that, no one's gonna buy it, but it worked out fine. So I wanted to do it. It came out of myself to do this, and even though it didn't make any sense for this chick from Chicago, Nashville to work with flamenco guys. But you gotta follow your instincts if you're trying to bring anything interesting to the world at all. Because honestly, like, there are better singers out there, there are better writers out there, and you can say that about almost anyone unless you were Prince maybe. But like, you're never gonna ever be like, oh, no one can do better than me. Technically, like, there's always someone that can sing better, right? But what I can do, what you can do, what we can all do is bring our own personal, unique perspective, for better or for worse, to the table and say, I see this through this particular lens, and no one can say it quite like this. So you got to really trust that instinct, I think, as an artist, because otherwise, what else do you have to offer, right? So, and then people will either respond to it or they won't. But in the so in the case of these genres and stuff, these songs were just coming out like kind of in these styles. Like I didn't try to force a song in to be gospel if it wasn't. These songs also aren't traditional in the sense that the songs on the first volume 1 of Cabinet of Curiosities, it's kind of like, I was describing it as kind of an eclectic Tom Waits, La Cericela desert western thing. So there's a bunch of influences in there, but it still sounds like me. The second one is electric blues and gospel, but it's not traditional gospel because I'm not traditional gospel, but it does have incredible singers from the Tennessee Mass Choir making me sound more gospel, and they're amazing. And they sing from the heart, and they make it me, but hanging out with them, right? And then
I grew up listening to that choir. I need you to know that because of how I was raised. Right. And I know Amy Grant has worked with them as well in the past. So I just they worked with everybody, and they were super cool and super humble, and they didn't have any reason to say yes to me because I don't have the budget. The most recent recordings with a girl named Kirby who does some amazing stuff. She's on a major label, and then they're working with me. So like, these are really generous people, musically speaking, and the point of this project for me was to let the songs be where they were supposed to go, to try to incorporate artists that I felt like elevated them, and it's the same with the flamenco fusion thing, to try to do something authentic and not try to force it too much, but to also not be afraid to do something a bit out of my comfort zone. So gospel music, I mean, I don't sing gospel, but to have gospel singers on the record, it brought it more to that territory. The trip hop thing, I mean, I don't even know what I'm doing, I swear to God. But like, it was just like, this would be cool. What do you think? And the drummer, Carlos Lopez, is this funk and rock drummer, but he's got this background in trip hop and electronica and stuff. So it's not me doing electronica, but it's just kind of going towards that world. And then those are the first 3 sets of songs that we will be presenting on the 29th of April, even though the only songs that are officially released before that date are the first 4, right? So the people who come to the show will hear the first 13, which aren't released until June in the end, because this pack was released yesterday on April 17th. Then pack 2, or volume 2, is released with the gospel singers, is on May 15th. And then on June 12th is the trip hop pack. And then we take a break for summer. And in September, we've got like the country folk pack featuring this incredible violinist, Fats Kaplan, who's worked with Jack White, John Prine, and all these other people. And then in October is the final one, which is like soul and rock, and it's featuring Nuri Thunder, who's an incredible Catalan soul singer, and these 3 amazing horn section guys. And it sounds pretentious, but it's gonna be cool. I saw Lady Thunder. I believe I saw Lady Thunder either with you or at one of the Elvis shows.
She was at my first concert I did when I came back after losing my voice.
That was it. Yeah. That was it. Oh. So, folks, what you're also, especially for our international audience, what you're also going to be taking is there's an energy that is being brought as well from Barcelona, Spain, Catalonia, infusing as well. And there's been something that you've been doing forever. You've been fusing different sound styles, energies, and genres into your music for so long. That's why we've called you for years the Queen of Flamenco Rock Fusion, because you're the only one who's done it, and you've done it, and you've executed it perfectly, or at least successfully. And the next thing about that would be from that signature, because this could be deemed risky, taking such a different step outside, as your agent or publicist was saying earlier. How do you feel about that creative freedom, though?
Well, that's the cool thing. The hard thing about being an independent artist is like, you have no backup. Like, I was up till 2 a.m. last night changing my own website to, make it so it was all current for the release today, right? And that sucks. But and you just don't have the budget because these days, as an independent artist, you're competing on streaming platforms and stuff with videos and with music with people who have a budget of millions, and you don't. So it's difficult because you don't have the infrastructure. You got to do it all yourself, and sometimes you don't do it all well because you just don't have enough time in the day. So that's bad. But the upside is that you don't have someone in some suit telling you can't. No, you can't. Like, I personally had to convince my musicians, each one of them. I sat down right here with Rubio, my guitar player, first before anyone else with a bottle of whiskey. I'm like, listen to these songs. You gotta tell me if you're interested in this or not. And if you say no, maybe I won't do the record because I need allies in this, you know?
Yes.
So even if I'm paying people, I want them to feel like they want to be there. I'm not saying do me a favor. I'm saying I will pay you to be on this record. I will pay you to promote this record. But everyone that's on this project are people that I sat down with and said, do you feel like you would be proud of being associated with this or not? Because that's super important to me. And that's the upside of being this independent artist person, is that you can sell it to the people that you believe are going to be good for your project. You don't have to like collaborate with whoever because they're on the label and the label won't let you do whatever. I mean, so it's scary because if you mess up, it's all on you, but it's cool because if you mess up, it's all on you. So
we're going to expect the positive here. Did you, speaking of expectations, did you expect it to evolve into something this, in this type of projection throughout the entire year up until 27?
Well, I don't know what I'm thinking of. I always do massive, massive, massive projects. Like with the live album that we recorded in 2018 and released in 2019.
Wait No More.
Wait No More. Yeah, that was the double live album. That show was like 3 hours long. I don't know what I was thinking. The first show that I did when I came back, when my voice was barely recovered, I had all these guest artists. I was so stressed by the end of that show that Nuri Thunder was driving me home because she was sleeping at my house and she had to pull over so I could throw up on the side of the road. I hadn't had that much to drink. I just was, because she said, you're not drunk? I said, no. I had like 2 sips of whiskey for my voice during the show. I was so stressed, and it's like it finally just all came out. I don't know. So my point is, was I planning on this massive thing? I didn't think about it. I was just like, this will be a good idea. This sounds cool. Just like moving to Spain. What was I thinking? I don't know. But sometimes if you just follow your instincts, it's better, because if you stop to think about, at least if I stop to think about everything that could go wrong and how hard it's going to be and how expensive it's going to be, of course I would never have done this. But this concept of like serving the art that you're trying to make, it sounds egotistical, but it's not. It's actually the opposite. It's more like, if you feel like something is worth creating, it's coming from somewhere. It's not 100% coming from you, because otherwise we'd make amazing art every day, right? If you feel like there's something that's coming through you and you're the conduit to something that you hope will add something to the world, you just gotta like lay it all down and try to make it happen the best that you possibly can. And, because maybe next year you won't have that inspiration. Maybe next year you won't have the time or the money. So it's very complicated, but it just felt like doing anything else would have felt like a cop-out, because it would have been choosing a path that was easier because it's easier, right? That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Well, to start wrapping up here, how has this city in which we both live, to suit it properly like them, how has this city shaped, coming from our and your specific U.S. American identity roots, how has this city shaped this in comparison to those U.S. roots? Not just this, but your sound, what you're evocatively putting out there in the ether. A
lot, because I mean, Nashville is amazing because everybody's great, like technically speaking, right? But sometimes things were very, very in one particular box. Like I mentioned Jack White before, because Fast, the violinist that we worked with here and who's a good friend, he played with Jack. And when Jack was here touring last time, I was talking to him about this. And Jack, for example, we're not friends, by the way. I'm not trying to pretend like Jack's my buddy. We just have met once. We just met a couple times. But he's a fascinating individual, and he's somebody who I think has really changed Nashville. But back when I lived there, it was just this fun thing. And they were like, they thought I was so weird, which people here think I'm weird too. But their being weird made it so you couldn't really make a living. Here, the industry's changed, the world's changed, but I feel like it's been a huge asset to have learned so much about different styles of music, because here, like, Barcelona's right in the middle of, like, you got Africa right next door, you got the rest of Spain right next door, you got France right next door. So all different styles of music. Yeah, and also there's a ton of Latino immigrants here, so Latin music, African music, flamenco, rumba, no sé qué, and it's been such a rich experience. And because I wasn't in Nashville, I wasn't thinking about like, what does this mean? You just take it in and try to take the best of what you can learn and try to see if you can see if you can not censor yourself, and if something comes through that's maybe not what you normally do, just do it. Because I think that as a musician and also as an audience member, like the only thing that people respond to is authenticity and something that somebody feels. So I've tried to let all these different styles like influence me in a good way, and tried not to be to be intentional and try to do the best work you can, but not be pretentiously intentional where you like try to become something that you're not just because you have the opportunity to, because you're no longer in Nashville. So I feel like it's been a huge opportunity, but it wouldn't have worked maybe in a city that was more commercially minded, because then you don't have the chance to play around and figure stuff out. And Barcelona's got a lot of issues, but it's cool in that sense. Like people aren't always trying to put you in just one box. And
one little box.
Yeah.
Do you think the possibility of the fact that you are outside of the bubble of the United States has given you more impetus or possibilities to have different types of success and excess that would not have been necessarily as capable in New York or LA or Tennessee?
Well, yeah, for sure. Because I mean, I just went to the hairdresser today, so I have blonde roots again. So
what's it like to have hair?
Well, I don't know. Mine's falling out. So I try to make it look like it's not. But this, for example, like, and I told the guy, I had an inspection today for my house with the gas company. They want to make sure my house is not going to explode. And the guy was like, "So what do you do?" And I'm like, "I'm a musician." He's like, "I can tell by your hair." I'm like, "What?" And I told him, I'm like, "No, this is fake," because the whole point of the hair comment is being like the blonde American person has been an asset here, whereas if you're a blonde American person in America, you're just one of like a zillion, just the same way that if you're a flamenco singer in Texas, it would be weird. So being weird, I think, is a good thing regardless of why you're weird. And then, of course, you hopefully have something else that you offer besides just being a bit different from like the norm. But I think it helped a ton, because I had a lot of opportunities that came up, sometimes because people knew of what I did and they liked it and they really appreciated it. And other times it's just because they were like, "Ooh, Elvis, you're American, you know Elvis, right?" Like, I've been involved with this Elvis tribute concert every January in Luz de Gas for the past 8 years or something, and it's beautiful. But to be honest, I know less about Elvis than anybody there, because I only started appreciating him once I got out of my home country, where I took him for granted because he was like the neighbor next door kind of thing, you know? And so that's been a huge opportunity for me to be here, to be seen as something different or special because I'm from somewhere else. But then I've got to live up to that and hopefully be something different or special. You can't just like ride on the fact that you dyed your hair yesterday, right? And those opportunities have enabled me to work with people that have taught me a lot, like the musicians from Calamento, or like the sax player Danny Nello, or these other people.
Oh, Danny.
Yeah. So you get better because of the people you're around, right? And it's been an amazing experience. In the States, I don't know, I was bored to tears. I love my people in the States, but I was touring constantly, and I just felt like I'm not learning anything. I'm just doing the same thing, trying to make a living. And here, you know, Europe's so much harder in some ways because every country has its own culture, and you got to plan it for Germany and Austria like a year before, whereas in Spain 2 weeks before, they still don't know if they've booked you for sure. So it's very stressful here, but I mean, it never feels like a bad decision to have come.
It's the unpredictability of everything. You know, there are two quick questions we'll wrap up. But
sure.
If there was, what is something that you would love for people to, in the audience of the scores of hundreds of thousands of millions that are going to be listening to this throughout the year up until 27, what would you like for them to draw from this energetically, musically? Was there something they would like for them to take from this?
From the project, or just from the crazy stories?
From the project.
Well,
and what it's saying.
I think that maybe with the first few songs, I don't know if it'll all come across, because like I said, the idea is that it's these 5 releases: April, May, June, break for summer, September, October. The idea is that as a whole, it says something, but also I hope that the individual pieces say something, right? And what it's trying to say is, I know that right now things are dark and things are weird and things are also good, but then there's also dark and it's violent, but it's beautiful outside, but there's war, and then there's AI, and you don't know if anything's real, and so there's so many contrasts and so many contradictions, so many amazing things. There's science that creates nanobots that can go into your blood and fix a cell, but at the same time, the same science is creating drones that can shoot up children with no one pressing any kind of button at all. So, I mean, the fact that everyone's trying to figure out, like, how do I feel about all this? Who am I? does love matter? What is love anyway? As the whole gender thing, like, is there two genders? Are there more? Is it okay to be yourself? Is it not? Are you going to get in trouble for? I mean, all these questions, I think, were not as urgent as they feel now. And I want people to listen to this album and feel like, okay, this album did not fix the world and it didn't fix me, but it did make me feel like somebody understands what's going on, and if she understands what's going on and she feels like this and she's managed to distill this insanity down into 21 songs, then maybe there's other people out there that feel the same as me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all. I mean, so people don't feel alone, because it sounds cheesy, but like, I think people feel really lonely and really afraid and really unsure and really timid about admitting that, because these days you're not allowed to be weak. You're not allowed to be imperfect. You have to be Instagram ready. Why do you think I'm wearing eyeliner for this interview? You know? So I don't know. I want people to be like, you know, it's fine, and it's you surviving today, and that's like not a small thing. So just give yourself credit for that. You know, that's the idea.
I love it. Okay, then I think we should just stop it there. So that's such a nice wrap up. And the next question is kind of funny, and this is a poignant way to stop it. So I just have to thank my beautiful sister. I don't think people understand. I'm going to try not to cry right now because I'm a little emotional. I don't think people understand how much you mean to me. And I just want to thank you for being my sister for the last 6-7 years through this pandemic and my mom's death and everything. So I want to thank you for releasing this cabinet, because I needed something new in this Curiosities, and I needed this energy as well. And I'm freaking dying. We're from family. We're going to have Tori in the studio very soon. Obviously, I mean, I wanted to do this interview live from your studio to mine. So we're going to have you in the studio. I want to re-mention on the 29th of April, and my beautiful ass is going to be there along with a bunch of our beautiful friends. Teatro de Sarria at 8 p.m. You can get, while the tickets are still there, so get them now, folks. TORI20, Tori 20 will get you a 20% discount for whatever tickets are left over right now. Get them while the getting's good, because you only have 2 weeks to do that. And I will see you same bad time and channel next week, Tori. I cannot thank you enough for taking time off of this. I know you got to go run and do something else right now.
Yeah.
So go slay. And I will see you on the flip side for one of our beautiful dinners at some point soon.
Well, and look, and I want to say too, thank you for, I mean, we could be friends and you don't have to support what I do professionally, you know? So I really appreciate that you're both a great friend that I can call when stupid things happen, but also that you support what I do and you support all these other independent artists and actors and poets and things around the city, because this is a hard gig, you know? So to have somebody who's like, no, I care about this, I believe in you, I'm excited for what you do, that goes a long way. So really thank you. And also I hope that if those of you who are watching don't know, Lucas is an amazing comedian, so I hope to see you again on stage.
Oh, you will. It's all being planned now. Good. Thank you for everything. Thank you for this energy. Thank you for taking the time. Folks, Cabinet of Curiosities is selling right now wherever all good music is sold and or streamed, and it's going to be coming out in the middle of this month, the next month, as well as in June. Take a break until September, October, and then we're going to have a fabulous end-of-year concert. We're going to make it happen in the name of the album.
That's the idea. And by then, I'll have vinyls, I'll have CDs. I know CDs are kind of old school, but some people say, so we'll have vinyls, we'll have CDs, all these things. So for those of you who are like, I don't like digital, I understand. We'll have them. Don't worry. Okay.
But Lucas is a collector of vinyl and CDs. So, and also cassettes are making a comeback, apparently. All right, Tori Sparks. Cabinet of Curiosities Volume 1 has dropped already. It is past Friday, so go, folks. Go stream it. Go buy it. Go listen to it. We will see you on the 29th at Teatro de Sarria at 8 p.m. Tori 20 is the discount code for whatever tickets are left. Tori, thank you, my love. We're going to throw in a little bit of reckoning right now, and let's see what's reckoning. Power to the people. Thank you so much, Tori.
That's it. Amazing. Thank you.
Finally come, so run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run. They keep telling us girls should just wanna have fun, just wanna have fun, just wanna have fun. So go do what you're told now, put down your guns, just put down your guns. They said put down your guns, 'cause nothing new ain't gonna happen here under the sun, not under the sun, not under the sun, but I don't move, none of us do. We block our ears with wax, lash ourselves to the mast and keep up but that bread isn't his, so string up the thief. Do it in public so they